At this point, I've been through 2 major fires in my life. Apparently, I attract them. But our story doesn't start here. We came to Intramuros to explore the rich history of Manila, but today didn't exactly go as planned.
Sir, Intramuros is built by the Spanish from 1571.
Our first stop was Baluarte de San Diego, one of the oldest stone fortifications in Manila. The original structure was built in the late 1500s by Spanish colonizers to defend Intramuros from invaders arriving by sea. What makes this place unique is its shape. Beneath what you see today are circular stone walls, part of a fortress that was damaged, rebuilt, and expanded over centuries of war and occupation.
It's crazy that I could just stand here. They would not allow this in Canada.
It survived pirate attacks, colonial conflicts, and even the destruction of World War II. Today, what once stood as a military stronghold is now a quiet garden, but the walls still carry the weight of everything they've seen. And if you're wondering why there's a golf course wrapped around a 16th century fortress, that was the Americans. Because nothing says colonial transition like turning a battlefield into a fairway. From there, we stopped at an old Japanese cannon for a little exploration before heading over to the Puerta Real Gardens. The name comes from Puerta Real, or Royal Gate, which once stood here as one of the ceremonial entrances into Intramuros during the Spanish rule. Unlike the heavy fortified gates used for defense, this entrance was meant for governors and high-ranking officials arriving into the city. The space around them has been turned into beautiful gardens, a quiet place to walk and hang out where people once entered the most powerful city in the Spanish East Indies. Personally, I found this walk through the gardens very peaceful, and I noticed it doubles as a nice little study place for the surrounding universities where students can come enjoy their day and crack open some books. From there, we had a short little ride to our next location, the Baluarte de Dilao, another defensive bastion built along the walls of Intramuros during the Spanish colonial period. Like many of the fortifications here, it was designed to protect the city from attacks coming from the outside of the walls. Cannons would have been faced outwards towards potential invaders approaching Manila. Today, one of the cannons here points directly towards the modern Manila City Hall, which feels like a bit of accidental symbolism. What was once built to defend the city now sits quietly, surrounded by modern government buildings and prestigious universities. Something I found very cool was just outside the walls of Intramuros stands another reminder of Manila's layered history, a statue of Ho Chi Minh.
Wow, this is a really nice little area. Oh, there he is. Look at this. For all the friends back in Vietnam, we got a statue of Mr. Ho Chi Minh here.
Something interesting about this area, it was absolutely filled with high school and college students, and I felt like a mini celebrity because all of them wanted to say hi to me, and I thought that was really cool. After walking through centuries of history, we stopped at something a little more modern, Manila's oldest distillery right here in Intramuros. The distillery was originally founded in the 1800s and has been producing spirits in the Philippines for generations. Over time, it became known for crafting local wines, whiskeys, and other spirits using ingredients sourced locally across the country. Inside, we got a chance to learn about how some of these drinks are actually made, from the fermentation process all the way to aging and blending. Of course, the best part of the lesson was the tasting. Let's just say the history lesson got a lot more fun after that. We got to try different types of fermented wines, flavored whiskeys, as well as some stronger spirits that were just rooted in history.
Let's go with the dragon fruit first. Here you go. Here you go. So this one is dragon fruit. Cheers.
Interesting.
I like that.
That's good.
And then this one is the sugarcane fermented wine. So it has 12.
Oh, that is juice.
Smell this one, it's the sugar cane.
Oh, that smells good.
Sour, yeah.
Our favorites ended up being the mango-infused whiskey as well as the coffee liqueur, which tasted kinda like Bailey's, but a little bit stronger. They also had this amazing chocolate whiskey, which just tasted like chocolate milk. 3 shots in and you were probably gone, but you will enjoy the entire process. If you made it this far in the video, remember to hit that like button. It helps out the channel a ton, and hit that subscribe for more future uploads. And with a slight buzz, we moved on to something unexpected. One of the most impressive landmarks inside Intramuros is the Manila Cathedral. The cathedral you see today was actually rebuilt multiple times over the centuries after earthquakes, typhoons, and even the destruction of World War II. The cathedral you're seeing in this video was actually the 8th time rebuilding. It stands as one of the most important churches in the Philippines and has been the center of Catholic life in Manila for hundreds of years. But just as we were exploring the area, things took a sudden turn.
Oh my god, there's an actual fire over here. The fire trucks just went by.
A fire had broken out just a few blocks away, and within minutes the entire area started to fill with sirens, emergency vehicles, and people rushing through the streets. For a place that had felt peaceful and historic just moments ago, Intramuros suddenly turned into complete chaos. It was one of those moments that reminds you cities are living places, where history and real life collide all at once. And this was definitely not the ending to our Intramuros tour that we expected. With the fire still raging nearby, we had one more stop planned before leaving Intramuros, the tomb of more than 600 Filipinos who were killed during the Battle of Manila in World War II. Unfortunately, because of the power outages caused by the fire, we were unable to enter the memorial itself. But even standing outside, it's impossible not to think about how brutal the living conditions must have been during this time. Moments like this reminded me that the beauty of Intramuros sits on top of a very heavy history. With smoke still filling the sky behind us, we made our way towards the river, the same waterway that connected Intramuros to the growing city of Manila. And after everything we saw that day, it felt like one last quiet moment before stepping back into the chaos of the modern city. And throughout this experience here in Intramuros, I learned that cities like Manila aren't just places you visit, they're stories layered over centuries. Before we wrapped up the day, our guide took us to one last spot where I can get the drone up and capture the scene from above. From the sky, you could really see the scale of what was happening. And this was the moment that led to one of my favorite photos from the trip. A group of locals gathered around to see what the drone was seeing from above. And this made me realize that sometimes the best travel moments are the ones you never plan. After the entire experience, about 3.5 hours of exploring Intramuros with a private guide, we paid around 150 Canadian dollars. And honestly, at the time, that felt very steep. But after checking online, that price seemed to be pretty average for a guided private tour of this area. And having a guide was actually a great experience because we were able to learn the deeper history behind places like the forts, churches, and the gates throughout Intramuros. But if you're traveling on a budget, this is definitely a place where you could explore on your own as well. Everything is close together, and it's easy to walk from site to site. Either way, Intramuros is one of those places in Manila that gives you a completely different perspective on the city, where centuries of history still sit right in the middle of modern life.